Hey there, my friends, and thank you for being here for this week's spiritual guidance and angel messages. Now, I thought we might do something a little bit different this week. So, as you know, we are basically at the very end of 2019. And so I thought it might be a little more fun for us to put our feelers out there and see what kind of guidance and what messages the angels can bring for us for 2020. And we might even pull a card to see what they say as well. So we don't only have like the end of the year coming up and this fresh new energy of a new year, but it's also a completely new decade for us. And anytime we have these big changes or these big shifts, it's almost like a full stop happens and a new page is turned. It's like a blank canvas, and we've got all these paints or pencils or whatever medium of choice, and we can create whatever vision it is we want for that year ahead. Now, we're going to put that energy out there not only for that year, but also for that decade, okay? Now, I know that it has been a big year. It's been a big couple of years, and some things have been truly wonderful, and some other things have been a bit challenging at times. And that's kind of happened through the last decade, right? We've had wonderful moments, but then we've also had some struggles at the same time. But every time we go through a painful moment, every time we have a challenge or an obstacle that we have to face, what I like to do is look back on that and not get frustrated that we have to go through it or resentful that we had to experience it, but instead decide, you know what, if I was going to go through that thing again, how would I do it differently? What steps could I have taken to move through that obstacle faster, in a more healthy and balanced way? I would even do the same thing with clients, with friendships, with other things that I've just got to do in my life. If I have those moments that feel a little bit uncomfortable or unbalanced and it just didn't go the way that I wanted it to, I look back on that situation afterwards and I kind of say to myself, like, what would I do differently if that same situation were to come up again? So that way, if it does come up again, you know how to handle it. And the blessing of this, the real blessing, is that we don't then repeat the same thing over and over again. We've probably all been through that, haven't we? Where we've gone through something, it was not so fun, we've gone through it again, it still wasn't very fun, and by the third or fourth time we start to go, hang on a minute, a pattern is forming. And so we start to look at how we can change it. But imagine if you did that the first time around. You wouldn't have to go through those difficult times again and again because you'd have those tools and you'd have that knowledge on how to move through it. So rather than looking at the end of a year and the end of a decade and sitting there feeling disappointed or disheartened because you didn't get to where you wanted to be or you didn't achieve those things that you wanted to achieve, instead, the angels want you to look back on the last decade and know how far you have come. That there were moments where you could have stopped, you could have given up, you could have thrown in the towel or raised that white flag, but you didn't. You kept moving forward. You found that strength inside of you, even when you didn't think you had it, and you kept moving forward one day at a time. And as you carry that energy with you, as you carry that strength with you, you realize that every single thing that we go through, every lesson that we have to face, is helping us to shine in a different way. And that's really why we're all here, isn't it? We're here to share our gifts, to share our light, and to be of service to those people around us. We just want to make this whole experience better and brighter. And I hope that no matter what you've done over the last year, no matter what you've been through the last year or the last 10 years, that you're able to think of those moments and know that they've added some strength to you. They've added some extra insights or awareness that you didn't have beforehand. So rather than thinking you didn't get somewhere or you didn't do what you set out to do, know that you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. and that this new energy of 2020 and this new decade is going to bring a totally different vibration that's going to support you in achieving those dreams. So let's also pull a card and see what the angels have to say. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards and ask that the angels bring through whatever message and whatever guidance they can give us to help all of us throughout the beginning of 2020. You know, every year has its own different vibration, its own different feel, and it's kind of like daylight savings. When we change the clocks and it takes us a week or two to get used to it, same thing happens with the energy of a year. So be gentle with yourself at the start of this year. Remember to give yourself time to rest if you can. If you're able to stay in bed a little bit longer, sleep in, go to bed earlier, do whatever you can just to rest and recharge. That's going to be so powerful to you in the long run, because this is all about us connecting into this new vibration of 2020, and it's about you utilizing that energy for the greater good, for not only yourself but the people that are around you as well. I also feel the angels, what they're sort of saying to me is that they're going to be a lot louder for all of us. So, you know how you might have found a coin or you might have seen a feather and you kind of go, oh, that means my angels are around me. Well, it feels like this year is we're going to be overwhelmed with that. Like every day you're going to be finding feathers and every day you're going to be finding coins, so that you remember that they are with you. That you remember that you've got these heavenly beings of love surrounding and supporting you every single step of the way. So let's see which card they have chosen for us for the start of 2020. Communicate with your angels. Interesting. So this obviously is telling us that our angels are right there with us, that they're sending us messages, that they're sending us those little bits of insight and that little bit of guidance. And it's up to us now to hear what they're sending us, to pay attention to all those little signs that we see, to those intuitive moments that we feel, to pay attention to all of those things that we're aware of. Chances are you're probably not brand new on your spiritual journey if you're here, and you've probably been on this path for a little while. And if you have, then you've read different books, you've taken different classes, you've heard different speakers, and you've gained this insight, you've gained this understanding. This year is when we start putting that stuff into practice. This is a year where we start to bring those things out into the open and share what we know. And whether you're telling other people what you know or not, it doesn't matter. It's about you putting that into practice in your own life. If you know meditation is great for you, if you know that clearing your chakras makes you feel better, do it all the time. Keep that practice up, because we get so distracted by all these things around us these days. We've got our phones, we've got social media, we've got all these things to distract us. But we need to remember those things that make us feel the best, that make us feel the most connected to our divine guidance. And that's what's going to help all of us to move through this journey together. Okay, so the angels want us to remember to communicate with them, to ask for their help, to ask for their support, and to pay attention to the messages and the signs that they send us along the way. They're reminding me right now of myself and how the last 10 years has been, truly a big change for me. It was probably only about 10 years ago where I started writing. I had different articles in spiritual newspapers, magazines, and that kind of thing. And then my first book came out in 2012. And for many of you, you probably had never heard of me before that. I know there's some of you here that have been there before that even happened, but there's a lot of you that have kind of come after that. And if you think about how much of a change that time has given us, we think about how many shifts, how many evolutions we've all gone through in that time frame, that these next moments are going to be just as powerful. So again, the angels are really urging you not to feel disheartened or disappointed about things you haven't done yet, because maybe the timing just wasn't quite right. So know that it is coming. Know that they're right there with you, supporting you and leading you. And it's just about you trusting that that perfect opportunity is right around the corner. So as you connect in to the brand new energy of 2020, I hope that you'll find those moments to just catch your breath. I think for a lot of us as sensitive spiritual people, we feel like we're just running a million miles an hour as the year comes to a close. We feel like we've got to tie off all those loose ends, we've got to help all these people around us, and by the end of it, we just feel tired. So make sure that you are taking care of you. Make sure that you're practicing wonderful forms of self-care. And don't think that it's being selfish. Don't feel guilty about it. Just take that moment for you. It is so important to recharging those batteries and allowing you to really shine your brightest as we move into 2020. Now, as I said, it can take us a week or two to kind of get our bearings in the new year, and what I always love to do is just kind of feel that energy out for the first week or two. And then, as many of you know, I will release my mini class, Setting Your Intentions for 2020. And in there, I'll go in depth into the energy of what this year has to bring us, the different areas that you might want to focus on, and also the angels bring through a bunch of tools for us to work with, like different flowers and crystals and meditations and things that can be really helpful for us all throughout the year. So keep your eye out on that, and that will be coming around the middle of January, we'll see. But I do hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful end of 2019 and a wonderful start to 2020 as we welcome in that new energy. I just want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for all of your incredible support over the last year, and in particular the last couple of months, but also for the last decade. You know, I want to thank you all just for being here, whether you've been here for a week, whether you've been here for 10 years. I want to thank you all so much just for allowing me to share this space with each of you. So I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful week ahead. We do also have something pretty exciting that's going to happen on Sunday, but you'll see that later. So take a beautiful moment just for yourself, and then, as I said, on Sunday, I might be getting a little bit older, but we'll see. We'll see what I decide, if I'm going to be older or if it's just like a, you know, an anniversary or something. So I hope that you have a beautiful week ahead. I hope that you enjoy these next few days. Take a rest, take some time out just for you. Think about what you want for 2020, and I will see you then. So I'm sending you loads and loads of angel blessings. I can't wait to connect with you in 2020, and may all of your dreams come true.